Okay. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for everybody to log in. I'm about to change this into. I need to share this on Facebook with everyone so that way everybody who's also wanting to watch there can go ahead and watch through the YouTube link. I appreciate everybody being patient. Again, about to change. Ah, now I hear myself. Into. I need to share this on Facebook with everyone so that way everybody who's also. There we go. Oh, Will, I still see you on your camera on the screen right here. Oh, it's about to be set up. Okay. I appreciate everybody being here. And I know that we're still having people log in as well to view, so we're waiting a second. Oops. Share, copy the link, and going over to Facebook. Sorry about it. Usually, like what I usually like to do is I like to have it a little bit earlier, and then that way, by the time we get things going, it's a little bit flowing. But it's been a busy week for everybody. And so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it from here onto the and so, okay, Nistaniko Emeteo Kawan. Hello, my name is Little Dog, and thank you for coming to today's show. We have some amazing guests that we're going to be bringing on today, and it's going to be an amazing, of course, an amazing podcast. And Entertainers with Little Dog Fashion, we are running a little bit behind. Just means that it's going to be even better, okay? So we have two amazing guests that we're going to be meeting today. First up that we're going to have is going to be David Villa. He's a former wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders and very humble guy. He's an actor now, and so we're going to talk, see what he's been up to, get a little bit of his background, a little bit of his history, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself. All right. I do highly encourage everybody to ask questions. So whether you're on the YouTube link or you're in the audience link, please ask your questions. I will be able to ask them as well onto the on the show as well. And so let me see. Share. I'm going to share onto my personal, and I'm going to tag both Red and David as well too. Or I can't tag them. If I can mention y'all in them right now, but I will need to have y'all follow them as well or share it as well too. And if you guys can actually share it with your friends, family, people that think that would be interested in this, or even people just cooking their dinner. They need something to play in the background, right? We can be playing in the background, entertain them as well. If you have kids, bring them on. They're definitely going to want to come in for the show. We do have Red Mitchell, aka we have Santa coming in, and he's going to be wishing everybody, happy holidays. He's going to tell us a little bit about his background, how he got into where he got into, how long he's been acting, as well as how he got into the profession that he is. So this is actually a very busy time of the year for him, and we are super grateful that he made his way over here to the podcast, and we are excited to hear what he has to say. Okay, so I do apologize. I am still mentioning people, and oh, there you are. So to kick things off, we do have our Blackfoot lesson, which is I do have a mouthful for you guys. All right. That's what she said. But anyways, anyways, so the Blackfoot word is, and forgive me, I've been trying to pronounce this entire time, and it is super difficult. But I wanted to learn it, especially for the show. It is Emamokatoyeksiksimko. Okay, Itomomokotoyeksiksimko. Very difficult word. And that is happy holidays or Merry Christmas, depending on how you want to translate it. And so again, it is Itomomokotoyeksiksimko. Toixixico. So happy holidays, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is our Christmas Eve special, and we are going to have an amazing show. All right. So some of the announcements today is that every Sunday there is going to be stickball practice at Keys Park. And the way that you're going to be able to do that is you either contact Eli Hickman for information. You can pay attention to my page as well, or my personal Facebook page as well. And it's usually 3 to 5 p.m. out in Keys Park. So there'll be that coming up. We have some upcoming powwows as well too. Now, one of them is going to be in all the way out in April 2nd. Now, or April 5th and 6th. Sorry, that's the IIAC powwow. Now, we recently had an event not so long ago with the ICCT or Intertribal Community. Or I'm sorry, I have to take a breath. Sometimes my mind gets a little bit too far ahead of myself, and my mouth just kind of runs away, and my brain goes a different direction. And so the Intertribal Community Council of Texas, and they had a toy giveaway that they do on an annual basis, and it was wonderful. It was a great event for all the kids. I do have some photos, and we'll be posting those eventually as well too. And so, very grateful for the community, for the indigenous community, for the acting community. Everybody's been so supportive, especially of my show, of my podcast. And every time that I start getting, different roles, everybody's super supportive. And so I really appreciate everybody who's here. And I'm really appreciative of how this show has actually gone. It's gone from being just a promotional tool to help actors get out there and promote themselves, being a little bit of a talk show, to also being a resource for other actors and new actors who are looking to possibly come into the business or are new to the business. So that way you have a bit of a roadmap that you can follow, and you don't have just one way that you can do things. Uh, I didn't start the conventional way either. I did start in background. I plan on going to schools. I didn't think I was going to be an actor. And then eventually one day I was. Requests just kept coming in. And it's just been a wonderful experience. And it turned out that I actually enjoyed it. So I've been doing it all my life. How about that? Just didn't know. So you never know what kind of talents that you have. Maybe your talent isn't acting. Maybe you're a talented writer. Maybe you have an eye for camera angles, colors, different stuff, editing, producers, directors, PAs. Everybody plays a role. And so there is no such thing as a small role, because even without, one of the pieces working correctly, projects don't get made. And so we appreciate everybody who's involved, and everybody has a place, and everybody is important. So just want to give a shout out to everybody there. Give a shout out to also my talent agents. We have Nicole Carr of Carr Casting. There's Moonless Media, Wayne D. Burdette, sorry, as well as Thanasis. And I'm going to try to say your name. I'm probably not going to say it right, but your last name is Philosophilus. Philosophilus, out of Inorama Talent Agency. And we really appreciate you guys that always being there, also supporting me as well. So we will eventually be meeting with each one of them eventually, and then also too, a huge thanks to Legacy Casting, because through Legacy Casting was actually how I was able to get my start. They were the ones doing the casting for Lawman Bass Reeves whenever they needed an indigenous background, and they booked me and they booked Amy for 3 days. And then after that, we got booked for another day for a reshoot in Strawn, and then I got booked another 2 days in out in Waxahachie. So, after that, the roles have all been just flowing in after that and getting more requests. And then not too long after that, went in and we got to meet Ronnie Hummel out of Ronnie Hummel Productions. And big shout out to Ronnie, because she has also been giving me a lot of advice on formatting the correct way to format my resume, as well as telling me, she was the first person to tell me that I needed new headshots. And she's always got a lot of advice, and she's been in the industry for a very long time and has a great history. We do wish that she could have joined us tonight. Originally, she was part of tonight's. However, we will have her on another episode as well. So be looking out for that episode. as well as we have a double feature this week. So this one, of course, we have today, and then we have our next one airing on Friday. That's also going to be live, and we have an episode that we recorded recently that's going to be actually coming out tomorrow on Spotify. So look for us on Spotify. Follow the YouTube channel. Keep up to date. Yes, I'm about to be ready for David. Yeah, you can message me too if you need to. And so, but anyways, our first guest that we have coming on is Hall of Fame former wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders, or as they used to be in Oakland, California, before they switched to LA couple of times. And well, yeah. Anyways, LA, and then they switched to Vegas, I think it was. But anyways, back whenever they were the Oakland Raiders, he was a monster of a wide receiver. He did college football. He's a high school coach now, and we're gonna be catching up with him. I apologize. So his name is David Villa. Okay, and we'll be meeting with him right after these messages. So pause for ads. Go ahead and bring him in, Will. All right. Hey, David, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Man,
I
I'm
guess it
doing
worked out.
great.
It worked out.
Hey,
I just got in.
I'm
Perfect.
glad that we were able to get it all worked out and get you over here on screen, man.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad my
All
daughter
right.
was still here.
Oh, is she still there?
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank
she
you
was
very
waiting so
much.
that you can leave. Oh,
All right. So, David, give us a quick introduction and let us know a little bit about your background, your history.
um, and let me get a little bit about my background. Is I've been a big sports figure here in the actually in the San Antonio area. Um, so I went to high school here in San Antonio. Um, it's called Burbank High School. Back it's in the south side of San Antonio. I think predominantly 90, 98, 99 Latinos at that school. So it's kind of like um, the Latino neighborhood, the barrio, I guess you want to call it. So I went there, and then at that time. I was playing sports. My mom and dad, and my dad really pushed us to play sports, and I was like, sports. I never played in the Pop Warner League because we couldn't afford to pay, to be in Pop Warner back then. So I just played out in the park, out in the streets with my friends. Other than that, then I played in middle school football. And when I played, I really didn't make the team. I did make it, but I was like probably fourth or fifth string. And I became a punter, and that's the only spot they had for me. So I guess they didn't really see any skills or talent, but they knew I was fast. So when I ran track, they said, "Why don't you concentrate on track? Um, that's probably the sport for you." And I said, "Man, I can't." I said, and then my dad used to go to my practices. I said, "You see that man over there?" I said, if I don't play football, I may not be back at school. So, they started, so I kept playing. And my eighth grade year, we had one city in seventh grade, and I really didn't have much to do with it. All I did was punt the ball. Then eighth grade, I moved up to third string. so,
Nice.
and I was a running back. And I go, man, a running back, because my brother who went before me was a running back. So I played running back, and then when I went to high school, that's when it started. Kind of the coaches started noticing me as uh, a different position. They say, hey, you know what? Let's move you to a wide receiver. And I was, well, my brother played running back. He's, no, I think this will be good for you. All right. So in high school, I started playing wide receiver. Um, and then my freshman year, they put me in for two varsity games. So I made varsity my freshman year, but only for two games. And I didn't play much. And then from my sophomore year and stuff, I started getting noticed throughout, the city about not only my football, but my track, my running. So everybody say, man, how did you get so fast? I said, well, my mom and dad used to send me to the grocery stores because, we didn't have a vehicle. And they told me to run and they would give me a time to get back. So I take off to the groceries as fast as I could. And but then I had dogs chasing me. Back then you didn't have to have them in the gate. So when they were chasing me, I ran faster. I was here jumping fences like I was a hurdler or something. And I would get back and on time. And my dad goes, "Okay, you made it on time." Well, heck, it's because I was being chased by dogs. So every time I ran track or even played football, I always in my mind thought I'm being chased by dogs. So I would run faster. And then my senior year, I had gotten a scholarship for football. And I didn't get big scholarships. I mean, I didn't get the schools like Texas, Nebraska, Oklahoma. It was just a small school in San Marcos, Texas, called Southwest Texas. And it was a Division II school, small school. But my parents couldn't afford for me to go to college, and none of my siblings ever went to college. So I was kind of the first one to ever go, and I was in uh, shell shock because I was like, I didn't, at that time, Latinos don't leave home. You're a tight family, so when you leave home, you felt like you left, your parents forever. So I had to adjust to that. It was only like 45 minutes, 50 minutes away from San Antonio. Well, to me, that was a far drive. I didn't have I had a car, but it was one of those old cars back then. But it got me there. So at that time, I started playing football in a small school, and come to see, I started being noticed. I started breaking records as a receiver at the college, and I thought, well, and then I started having my name put with the big time Division I schools, like like the Eric Dickersons, the Gary Kubiak, all these big names that were in the Division I. I was right there with them from a little, Southwest Texas. I was like, wow. So it was close to what was my senior year, and I still had about another year before I graduated. And I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Uh, I have to pay my own way now because I didn't finish my 4 years, so I still lacked a few hours. And I was, man, what am I going to do? So then I started getting some scouts from the NFL would go to Southwest Texas, and the head coach will say, David, the Dallas Cowboy Scouts want to time you and throw you passes. And I go, what? Really? I was like, I just like, oh, okay. I was all excited. I was like, wow. So then other teams were coming. They would send me to the field. They'll time me. They'll throw me passes. I'll run routes just to see how I was doing. And I was like, wow. But still, it was nothing guaranteed. It was just, they thought I had some talent. And then I started receiving letters from the NFL. And I was going to show you all those. I forgot to get them out from a bunch of the teams that are now sending me letters about I had a good shot of making it in the NFL. And I was like, and I'm thinking Latino and wide receiver. I mean, you see kickers in the NFL, you see linemen in the NFL, but this was back in my era, back in the 80s, early 90s. You even see Latino wide receivers. And I'm like, so
Yeah.
it felt kind of weird, right? And then all of a sudden, I told my mom and dad, I said, well, I don't want to go to the military. I said, I'll just find me a job after I get out of college and go back to school where I can pay my way back to become a teacher and coach, because that's what I was going for education. And out of the blues, the NFL draft came. I was at class. I came back, went inside my dorm, and everybody came out of the room, started screaming, hollering. And I'm like, what's going on? And then the phone rings, and I answer it, and it was the owner, Al Davis, the one that was the owner of the Oakland Raiders.
Mhm.
Congratulated me, and I was like, so my worries were kind of like, oh my gosh, uh, I got me a job, to me, oh, I got a job. Um, but at the same time, it wasn't like I was guaranteed to be on the field. I had to go, and It was almost like the movie The Invincible. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. It
Yeah.
was a movie with the guy from Philadelphia and how he had to fight his way, but he got picked. But out of the blues, they had tryouts. Well, I didn't have a tryout. I actually made it. Now I just have to see how I'm going to make it on the field. So it was another shell shock to me because when I was at college, I was basically the only Hispanic on the team. You know, it was like we had a few more, but they all quit. And I said, man, I can't quit. And my parents will kill me. And I just happened to keep going. And then here I am in the NFL, you know, with guys like Jim Plunkett, Marcus Allen, Howie Long, Howard Zato, Ted Hendricks, you know, Lester Hayes, Ben McEnroe, Mike Haynes, Gene Upshaw, Art Shell. These are guys that, you know, in my era, and people who are listening probably kind of know some. These are big time guys who've made, you know, the Hall of Fame and the NFL and stuff. So I
Mhm.
was like, wow, I was in the same locker room with these guys. So every day was a battle for me because I was the underdog. I was a rookie. So when they would end practice, I would stay another hour by myself, running, doing routes, just by myself. While everybody was out eating already. Then after I go eat, and they're almost leaving, and I'm just eating, and they're all telling me, "Why are you staying late? You're not gonna make it, man. It's you know, you're Latino, man. You ain't gonna make the team." I'm like, all right, because
So,
because when you're in there, they're the veterans, and when a rookie comes, they don't want a rookie to take their spot. So they'll
mhm.
do anything to, manipulate your mind, this reverse
Wow.
psychology stuff. So I just said, oh, okay, okay. But every day I'd stay late, I stay late, I stay late. And oh man, the blessing, it's like, wow, I'm actually in the NFL. And it's like, so yeah, that's,
That's
we're
awesome,
actually the,
man.
the Los Angeles
So,
Raiders. Yeah. But that,
so
that,
we do
that
have
is,
one question. Oh, sorry. We do have
go
one
ahead, yeah, go
question
ahead.
that's been asked by the crowd, one of our audience members, and they want to know what year was it that happened that you were a part of that you were part of
So
the
it
Raiders.
was in the 80s, 30 season. It was back when we were the Los Angeles Raiders. So I lived in LA. And
Oh, okay,
then
so it was the Los Angeles.
yeah, so it was LA Raiders. And then we moved back. It was a stadium contract thing that they didn't want to negotiate with the team, the city. So they moved us to LA. So you had us, the LA Rams, you had the Chargers, you had all these teams that were, and we were, out of Oakland. And then we went back to Oakland.
Oh, that's
Well,
awesome.
Now they're Las Vegas, which I don't even know what that is, but okay. I said, okay, well, if I would have been at this era and living in Vegas, I'd be broke.
Now, as one of our guys actually did ask too, our same audience, which was Santa Pat,
Uh-huh.
asked if do you know? Sorry, let me look it up again. Dave Kesper.
Dave Capsper was before me.
That was
Yeah,
before you.
he was before me, but I mean, he would be at the practices. Some of the older players, Fred Biliknikov, the Snake, uh, Ken Stabler, they were uh, John Madden, who was a coach. And as soon as I got in, he retired, but he was there like a consultant to Tom Flores, who was our head coach then.
That's
So
cool.
I got to see all them, meet all them. But like I said, I wasn't there to be um, like we do now, kind of networking. I was there to try to make the team to be in a position to be able to play with a team like the Raiders and uh,
Yeah,
a kid from San Antonio in a small
for
South
sure.
Side.
And you said that you were one of the first Latino players. Now you said that there
I
was a few others, but not many.
I don't want to say I was one of the first Latino
Hmm.
playing because there were Latinos playing, but like I said, they were mostly kickers, linemen, like
Okay.
Max Montoya, like um, Anthony Munoz with the Cincinnati Bengals. There were a few names, and then when I went in, there was one called Gabe Rivera who played high school, but a different high school, but we were in the same district. So I played against him. He went to Pittsburgh, but then he got into an automobile accident and kind of messed up his career. But
Oh,
so there were a lot of linemen. I can't recall um, another Hispanic wide receiver when I was there. But they did have names like Fernandez. They had uh, oh God, I can't even remember some of them, but they were more like the Puerto Rican, Cuban type.
okay.
Uh,
And that's pretty cool. So our same audience actually said that Pat Thomas was one of their high school teammates in Plano.
oh wow, wow,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, no, yeah. You know what? It is cool. I was like a little boy dreaming of, you know, and I wasn't much like talking sports. I was just, man, maybe one day I could play in there. Um, I was probably a one in a million, almost like the movie Dumb and Dumber. You have one in a million, you know. But I always had that little dream, and I always pushed myself uh, to say, oh man, that I couldn't do it. I just went and I did what I had to do, and it paid off. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I didn't make it just because I made it. You know, I made it because I went out there and I busted my tail and I did what I had to do. And yeah, it was it's a lot. I don't want to say it was different than what it is now, but you know, back then it was more. Um, you know, everybody has a dome now. You know that they play under, and
Hmm.
some of them still play in the snow because they don't have a dome. But back then, you played in the rain, the cold, the snow, the heat. You know, and now the domes. Well, you know, they play at 75, 80 degrees weather. You know, back then catching the ball with your hands frozen because I never used gloves. I don't know why. I always tell myself why I never used them. I don't know. Now you know they're out in the dome playing. You know, in nice weather. So the people back in the past who had rushing records, receiving records, or just anything, they're being broken. You know, of course, because back then, you know, we were running in the cold snow, and now they're more. Even if it's snowing outside, they're playing in the heat.
Yeah.
But
It was like
like I
the
said,
it
I'm
was
not.
like the UPS or USPS of sports.
Yeah,
Rain, snow, and
yeah.
shine.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking it down now. It's just
Yeah.
it was, you know, it was a lot different. And I know
Uh,
people ask me
and
if I would
training
be
is a
able to.
lot different nowadays too.
Yeah, I didn't have a trainer, and I didn't even know what to expect. Nobody helped me. Nobody said, "Hey, you got to be ready for this," because everybody was competing against each other. So nobody's going to want to help you. There's some that would, but some were like, "No, I don't want to help you. Then you might take my spot." So you know, and then when I finally became a veteran, then I did help the rookies, you know, because,
Mhm.
you know, if they're better than me, they're better than me. I mean, you know, I can. There's nothing I can do. If they're faster than me, they're faster than me. And that's what happened a lot of times is, wow, you know, but like I said, I did everything I had to just to be able to keep going and going and going.
That's awesome.
You know, my own time was staying late and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
staying up late trying to read my plays and the playbook, and you know, it's just that's just the way it was back then. But yeah, so that was kind of a background of my sports thing, and you know, it's been a while since I've been out, so people still remember me. People kind of, but I don't really. I'm real humble. I don't really like talk about it. I don't.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not bragging about it. I just go on. If people don't believe me or don't believe people that say, "Hey, that guy played," they're like, "Yeah, all right." I'm like, "It's all right." I don't tell them. I don't tell them, "Hey, well, look me up on YouTube or Google." If they do, they do. If they don't, I read them.
One thing that can
Yeah.
always be said about you, and everybody says it too, everybody who's encountering, is that you're actually one of the more humble people that we've met, especially coming out of the NFL. Your history, what you're doing now as well too, and so you're one of the more humble people that I've come across as far as being a professional athlete, as well as now you're considered to be a professional actor now, and so
Well, well, not only that, and people don't realize that I'm a high school I'm a school teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a high school football coach, and I'm a high school track coach. Now, back then I used to do basketball of it, but more the football track because that's kind of how people notice me. So yeah, I've been doing that for 38 years, and I'm still doing it. So now, like you said, the actor part has kind of, I don't know how that happened. Well, I kind of do, but it's just weird the way it happened.
It
Yeah,
seems to work out that way. It kind of worked out the
yeah,
same way too for me as well.
yeah,
I just never
yeah.
saw myself being that way.
Yeah, me neither. I
Being
mean,
like,
yeah, it was like when they approached me about it, I was like, no, no. They go, well, you kind of did a lot of acting when you were on the football field. I said, no, it wasn't acting because I wouldn't be playing if I was acting. They kicked me out of the
those were
team
real
already.
hits.
Yeah, they just
I wasn't staging those hits. No.
no. And I said, but the only thing about that is I was able to play in front of a 80, 90, 100,000 people every weekend, every game, Monday night football, Thursday night football, Sunday football. I was playing in big crowds. So yeah, the acting part was okay. Well, I can
You can
do
still
things
perform
in
under
front of
pressure.
people. Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
pressure. I'm like, I've done it before, so there's no reason for me to, choke or yeah. And then the acting part just kind of they had a celebrity basketball game for to help the youth, the young kids, bring in money so, they can go play sports. They can, just have things that, it's hard at times. And I said, well, yeah, I'm sure I'll participate. So I was a celebrity athlete who played in the game against some other basketball players and then a lot of directors, actors, movie stars, producers. And I'm like, but to me, I didn't think about that because I was never ever thinking about this acting thing. And
Hmm.
then they tapped me on my shoulder and, hey, you want to be an actor? I go, what? I said, I've done that for years. But I said, no. I kept saying no. I kept saying no. So a friend of mine, her name's Brandy, she approached me and said, I think you should just try it. And I said, hey, I thought about it. So I said, well, they put me in a I guess that you call a background
Hmm.
person. And so the movie is called Say a Little Prayer. So I came out with Louis Fonsi, who's that Latin singer. And it's been on right now. It's in the movies. And I mean, I came out like if I had an acting part, I mean, I was like in almost every scene. I was like, and everybody thought it was because my size, my height, they put me in front of the cameras with the actors and actresses. And I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty good. It's not like I've never been on television, but, and then just more and more directors and casting directors, producer writers were approaching me and saying, "Hey, I want you in my film." Da 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 da. And I'm still going. I'm still doing it. So yeah, and I know a lot of people take courses, in the theaters or acting schools or me. I didn't do any acting school and stuff. It was just like that's what I've done before. But I do a lot of Zoom with some well-known, I guess, direct casting director people who have their own ways of showing these new actors or actresses how to be a good actor. So I've been doing that with some well-known people, and that's how I learn. That's how I'm learning
Yeah.
through that.
No,
So yeah,
would you mind mentioning to their names if you go through? Because a lot of people don't know some of these other people, and some of them have their own programs out,
yeah,
and something that people can look into because it's definitely not conventional to do it Zoom ways. I have heard of Zoom, like for me myself, Professor YouTube is my professor whenever it comes to a lot of
yeah,
the
yeah,
acting.
yeah,
And I've been learning a lot. Eventually, I do want to invest into a class, or especially for like working parents and working people. It makes it
yeah,
a lot easier to not have to show up physically, but to also get feedback because a lot of my feedback is myself or some of the different actors that I know that are working actors that I can reach out to, send them my videos, and they're like, "Yeah, that looks good," or "Here, you need to change this." Who are
yeah.
your casting directors that are able to help coach you?
Oh, so one of them is named Amy Jo Berman. The other one's Chloe Miller. The other one's new. I think I got in with her about a week ago, and I just went in her Zoom. She reached out. I went in. Um, so it's kind of almost the same as the other two that have been teaching me through these Zooms.
Hmm.
But it's worked. It's been working. Whatever they're doing, they send me the workbook and stuff, and then I just fill in the blanks that they tell me to fill, and then I go over it. I go over it. So it's pretty helpful. It's been helping me a lot. So I'm getting better.
So,
I'm not a Denzel Washington or anything like that, but I'm getting better at it, and I think then people knowing, okay, well, he's an athlete, and there's some pro football players who became actors, like the
mhm.
one from hockey. He just passed away, and there was one that played a detective. So there's a few that have come out and been successful in it, but I'm not
Oh
saying
yeah.
it's going to be, but I mean, who knows?
Oh yeah.
Who
Well, one of
knows?
the
I
other
mean,
ones that I'm familiar with is Terry Crews.
well, yeah, it's kind of like my sports. People, being negative about everything, like, oh, you're not gonna make it. There's no way. You can't compete with these people. You can. And I always look back to that. I said, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna see what I can do. And um, like I said, the Lord has given me a new path, and I'm just letting Him guide me through it. And if I get big roles, if I don't, I'm okay because, like I said, I'm a educator. So I have other things I do besides having to say, okay, well, I'm going to go do this film, which I still do them, but I just have to do them in different times because of my other work that I do. But I get to do them, and I've been doing them, so it's worked out. I just have to split my schedule, but
Hmm.
it's working so far.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
Now, uh, when did uh, when did you get your introduction into the Hall of Fame?
So I want to try to make this the clear right now on the Hall of Fame things.
Hmm.
When people say I make the Hall of Fame, I made uh, a lot of Hall of Fames. Uh, the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame, the SASD Hall of Fame, the National Hispanic Sports Hall of Fame, the College Hall of Fame, the Texas State Hall of Fame. I have not gotten into the NFL Hall of Fame, and I think people are getting the misconception that when
Ah.
they say Hall of Fame, I have a lot of Hall of Fames that I made, and these are things that I never um, expected, and it's like I never run with something that I've been doing because I never expected it to happen. So when I was getting calls saying, "Hey, are you going to be inducted into this Hall of Fame?" I'm like, "What? I mean, why?" That's all I kept saying. Why? So it's a big deal here in San Antonio or outside of San Antonio. The College Hall of Fames, all those, they're not easy to make. And when they call me and tell me I'm going to be, um, you know, in it, I'm like, so a lot of people just look at statistics. So
Okay.
um, high school statistics, I don't even know what my high school statistics were, but I made it. So it must have been good. My college
That's
stuff.
good.
So yeah, so I'm trying to correct people because I know people will say he made the Hall of Fame. I have not been. Now, will I make it? I may one day. It's not easy to make it to that level. Even if you play 12, 13, 15 years, it's just so much competition. Now, will I make it one day? Maybe I'll make it when I die. I don't know. I may be surprised and I might get the call and say, and I'm like, so I don't expect uh, it. If it happens, then of course I'll accept it. But most of the times, uh, when they call me, it don't matter what Hall of Fame it is. When they call me and tell me, "Hey, you just made it into the Athletic Sports Hall of Fame," and I'm like, "What? Wow!" So it's a big thing for me because you have
It's an
hundreds.
accomplishment that some people will never even achieve.
Well, yeah, well, when you think of how many high schools are throughout the United States, I mean, or colleges, And you're talking about hundreds and thousands of athletes that have gone each year. And to be one of them, to be called as a Hall of Fame, I'm like, wow. Well, so yeah, to me, it's kind of still a little. I mean, I have all my stuff back here, my football
Oh, for
stuff,
sure.
my trophy cases. I never show them. I never uh, look at them. Even like this is one thing I never wear, and I don't ever wear them. So even if I were to open my box and show all my rings, I don't wear them. I don't wear them. I don't go out and put them all on. Uh, whether college championship rings or whatever rings, NFL rings, whatever. I don't walk around. Um, I don't care if I'm getting inducted into something or it's a big um, uh, gala or whatever. I just I just go normal, and nobody even know I even played ball. I just go, and then when I go to the stage, then people were like, "Oh wow, oh wow, he play," So that's just the type of humble person that I am. I'm not, and that's why everything I have up here, it's my second floor. It's kind of, I call it my game room, kind of like the man cave, kind of like my football stuff. And now I have acting stuff up here
That's
with my
awesome.
big pictures
No.
of what movies I've done. But I don't bring anybody up here. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe Santa. I just saw Santa. I better be good.
He's actually next to us joining me tonight.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, like I said, I don't I'm just a real humble guy. Um it's just that's just me. Even in the acting part, I'll help and I support uh whoever. I'll help the young ones. Not that I'm a professional about it. I've only done it less than 2 years. But I'm willing to help people who want to do it because I'm not saying I know any more than them, but that's just me.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we
that's
do have the same guest that actually told you to actually suggested to try Kirk Waller, which is an acting class of The Chosen actually. And so that's another acting class that we could try out too. Now we are coming close to the end of pretty much at the end of your segment. We really appreciate you coming on today, David.
yeah, thank you.
Uh, is there any advice that you give to anyone who's looking to get into acting or
Well,
sports or anything else?
I do in a lot of ways. And I think me being in The Chosen, when I got that call to be an actor in The Chosen, a big feature role, and there were, the outlaw Josie Wells and all that. I was like,
Mhm.
wow. So the advice I could say to these actors or athletes is, um, don't ever give up. Um, Even if you don't have a dream and you have a goal, then go for that goal. If you have a dream, then of course go for the dream. But don't ever tell anybody or tell yourself that you can't do it because I've never said that.
Mhm.
And when I looked at everybody around me and I said, wow, I got to compete against this because it's always going to be competition. It's always going to be, you're going to compete against many, many people. And if you don't get it, you don't stop. You just keep moving forward. And one day it's going to hit. And it's the only advice I can say because I did it. Not only through sports, but even through the acting, even through my coaching and teaching. I just keep moving, and the Lord's blessed me. So just keep doing it. Don't give up. I don't care if it takes you 10, 15 years, it's gonna hit, I guarantee you. It's not like the lotto. Because I ain't gonna win the lotto because I never played, but but you just keep going. And one day you'll hit it. So that's the advice I would give to these young actors and athletes who are watching. Just keep going, keep striving.
Yeah, for sure. And we really appreciate you.
You know,
It's so,
I'm
but
thinking,
anyway,
okay,
man, we
you
really appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on and as a guest. Now, a lot of same thing that I've been telling all of our guests is that we are still a pretty small show at the moment. You know,
Okay.
as we gain more mental momentum, and you know, I've noticed that we do have more guests as time goes on, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We do want you to come back out, and we will
Yeah.
do a follow up episode on you as well too. Okay, see
Yeah,
what you've
sure,
been up
sure.
to.
Maybe I'll show more of my stuff that's in here that I didn't show right now. Only what I
Yeah, for
showed.
sure.
I was surprised I even did that, but just to let people know, I don't flash around. I'm just a normal human being.
Yep, I totally get it. No, we appreciate you, brother. Okay,
All right.
and
Thank you for having me on. I
tell
appreciate it.
you Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And I'll tell
Thanks,
you what,
Santa.
you are fantastic. I loved
Thank you,
every minute
Santa.
of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night and a happy Merry
You
Christmas.
too, and
You
Okay.
happy Merry
too.
Christmas. Now,
Okay.
what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit the on the corner of your screen. You're gonna see a button that says "Leave," and that's gonna be for you to be able to go to, and you can go ahead and continue watching us on YouTube as well. Okay.
Okay. That
Yeah, if
sounds
you go to
great.
my page, it's there.
Okay.
You see it on your
Yeah.
screen.
I don't see where it says leave, but my daughter left, I think. So all I see is an arrow, and then I see if you like, then three dots, um, three lines, but I don't see anything that says leave.
Let's see on the if you're looking to the top right before you get to there above, probably above where my
Okay, I
my
see it.
my
I see it.
video's at.
I
It's
see it.
Leave.
I see it. Okay, I'm gonna hit it.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you
good night.
very much, David. We
Okay.
appreciate you.
All
It
right,
was
good
great
night.
having you on, man.
Okay, you too.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
There we go. So I'm going to move over this way. If you want, can you move it a little bit this way? A little bit more over. There we go. And I'm going to pan down a little bit. All right. Awesome. Now, we appreciate everybody. And this is Red Mitchell. This is Santa.
Yep.
And so we're very pleased to have you on here.
Thank you. I'm proud to be here. Dave, he was magnificent a while ago. I enjoyed listening to him. That was great.
It's a very awesome guy. I got to meet him on actually on a commercial.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it was for a funeral home that was shot over here. It was through Ronnie Hummel.
Well, I was at that one too.
Was you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know that there was, I think, 2 different days.
Yeah.
And,
2 different days. I think I was on the day that you wasn't there.
Yeah. You I think y'all were on set together, right? You and
We
you
were.
too. And
Oh,
so,
definitely. Yeah, and Mrs. Claus was there too.
oh, okay, awesome. This was there.
Yeah.
And so, me and Dave, we were there on the day that they called us the Mexicans.
Oh, that's right. I don't think I'd fit into that one.
And so yeah, that happened as well. Now, anyways, it was a fun day, but you know,
Oh, it was what day we were too.
it was a crazy day, and it had a crazy ending. But we're not gonna get into that, you know. So, give us a little bit of your background, Red.
Well, whenever I was a kid, everybody said I looked like Kris Kringle because I had the red hair and all. And later on, through a lot of problems with sun and all that, I decided to grow a beard, and I would grow it during the wintertime and then shave it off during the summer. But then I started finding out that my beard stayed fuller if I just leave it and just keep it trimmed.
Mhm.
And later on, it started turning white, and so that's whenever I became a full-fledged Kris Kringle, or Santa Claus, or Saint Nicholas.
Now, how long ago was that?
Oh, golly, that's been over 15 years ago, about almost 20, that I ended up actually becoming full-fledged.
Mhm.
But back in the 50s and whenever I was born in 54, so back in the 50s and all that, whenever I had the red hair, and I started growing a beard whenever I was in the 5th grade. And that indications right there that I was actually the real Kris Kringle, because they sent me home from school to get it shaved.
Oh wow! See, I've never had luck with any kind of facial hair.
Oh, yeah.
It comes in different patches, so I joke around. I said that's because I'm Apache.
Yes, most definitely. Well, my great grandfather was Apache too, so yeah.
Oh wow! You didn't get that gene though.
No, I did not. My brother did though.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's kind of like in every generation it shows up.
That's
one out of every generation,
that's pretty true. So
And his son is showed up in him too. So
okay. No, awesome. Now you saw that we did have somebody that already told you hi on the other chat.
oh,
And
cool.
so I have my producer. I told him to send the questions or anything that's over here,
Okay, cool.
just because I can't really reach the chat button, which is on the camera
Oh
itself.
yeah.
And so he's gonna send them over here to this one. Okay.
Okay, cool.
And so now, how long ago did you start with your acting career?
Oh, it was back in the early 80s, back probably around 83, 84. That's whenever I actually started in my acting.
Okay.
In fact, the first major motion picture I did was with Tom Cruise on Born on the 4th of July.
Oh wow.
I played a Zippy in it.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, it was. We had a lot of fun on that set. It was cold though.
It's kind of funny how they like to shoot the summer scenes in the winter and the winter scenes in the
Oh,
summer.
most definitely.
Which I kind of understand because after I think, were you on set for The Landman?
Oh yes, yes,
Okay.
most definitely.
Was you there for the reshoot when they had us all do like the patch scenes and there in the summer?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
I did one of those days.
Oh, did you? My
And
goodness.
for the reshoot, I did the other ones during the cold, which was okay because we had long sleeves and
Oh,
everything,
yeah.
But whenever it was when it came to doing the reshoot in the heat, oh my gosh, there was so many smells.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody was happy. It made you tired. They couldn't turn on the AC.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I
And so,
remember that.
I was like, no wonder why they don't shoot these during the summer.
That's true. It would have been nice.
Yeah. Now, after that, now you've done a lot of background work as well, and you've also done supporting roles and featured roles as well.
I have.
You've put in a lot of work into this. How much work would you say that you've gone into your acting career?
Oh God, a lot. I mean, I've done several commercials. I did a Whataburger commercial back in the 80s. I did a music video, which was used for karaoke bar with Pancho and Lefty. I played Lefty in it. And yeah, believe it or not,
Nice.
I don't think I fit the role with Pancho, but
Well, you never know.
well, that's true. You never know.
And actually, that's one bit of advice too is if even if a role doesn't seem to fit you, you still apply for it, and you might end up getting a different role. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, yeah, I've done that plenty of times. It. One thing about this business, you have to do it because you love it.
Mhm.
Don't expect to get famous in it. Don't expect to get rich in it. You do it because you love it.
Mhm.
And I love getting into a character of anybody, even Santa Claus, what better character than that,
Exactly.
But I have played dumb deputy many a times. And I do like comedy type things. I did one in Nolan where I did play Hispanic and I did talk with an accent. And I was selling a horse. But I said, "Oh, senor, he no looks so good." But the problem is, it wasn't because of his looks; it's because he couldn't see. But it turned out pretty cute, though.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I do tell that people as well too that talk to me. They're like, "How do you get so many roles?" I just kept applying, even if it didn't apply to me. I applied.
Most definitely do that because I don't know how many I go through before I actually get one. I know back years ago, back in the 80s, they said in California it was like out of every 65 roles you put in for, you get one. So
Mhm.
I don't know what it is nowadays because I hadn't really checked into it.
I've heard it's like every 100.
Every 100, so it has gone up quite a bit. But you have to take consideration. Look at all the people that are getting into acting now
Oh yeah.
that love it.
For sure.
I understand that completely.
And that's what I like about it too is like I said, at first I didn't realize that I had been doing acting all along, especially being in sales. It's been part of I consider it as part of my training.
Mhm.
Uh, because we gotta memorize the script and you gotta put on a show for people.
Yep.
If you don't have a physical product to hand people, then you gotta paint the picture for them,
Mhm.
which is something that you're doing in acting is you're painting pictures
And yeah,
using your
that's right.
body and your words.
Your facial features go a long ways in that too. I mean,
Exactly.
you've got to look and believe you are that person in order to make that person be real. You got to be him.
Mhm.
And I guess that's one part I like about acting. is becoming that other person, you know?
I always think of it, and I joke about it a lot, but it's the. Have you ever seen Master of Disguise?
The one?
The Master of Disguise.
No, but I tell you what, that's exactly what you need to be.
Exactly. And so it was kind of funny because he does this launch on there. He's become another person.
Ah, yes.
And he does that until he becomes a different person. And it was the you remember Wayne's World?
Yes, I remember
Okay.
Wayne's World. Yes.
The lead actor in that one is Garth. He
Yeah.
played Garth.
Garth. Uh-huh.
And he's the lead actor in Master of Disguise.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Dana Carvey, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
Is that's who's the lead in Master of Disguise.
Wow.
I've always you know, I kind of think about that sometimes whenever I do a role too. I'm like, become another person, become another person.
Exactly.
And so, but for me, I love storytelling. You know, I love being
Mhm.
able to tell stories. Even whenever I was younger, my jokes would revolve around story jokes. You know,
Yes.
and telling stories has just been something that's also deeply involved in my culture too. And so being
Or
able
definitely
to
your
be-
culture.
exactly. So being able to be part of the story and be able to bring it to life,
Mhm.
it just I enjoy it. It's a bit more rewarding than anything
Yeah.
else.
It is. You
And
got that right.
so, and then sometimes you get to see how that person's come to life, and you're like, oh wow, you didn't realize I did that.
Yeah, exactly. That does make a big difference. I used to do mountain and rendezvous quite a bit, and that's exactly what we used to do: sit around the campfire and tell stories a lot. And a lot of the older gentlemen, they had some pretty good stories, I tell you, and it was just enjoyable to sit there and listen to them talk.
That is awesome. Yeah, we had well, I never got to make it down because I wanted to make it to the Four Corners
Uh-huh.
for Gathering of the Nations, which was a giant powwow, and I heard that back in the day it was a lot better than it currently is. But I've always wanted to make it down for that because I heard that there would be storytellers from all sorts of different reservations and tribes coming through. I think that's something that we should definitely bring back is whenever there's a powwow, have storytellers come in,
Yes.
pass down the stories, to the rest of us. For me, I would like to see some of those stories turned into either like a type of anime or a live action film. I know that it's been challenging. There's not very many, indigenous storytellers really left around,
No,
as
they're
well
not.
as people trying to tell the stories as well.
Mhm.
And so I would like to turn them into that, get a bunch of voice actors, to do, especially indigenous, and
Yeah.
do also the modern day. And so I do have a couple of directors that I'm working with that we're able to do that. We're working on doing that.
That's fantastic.
And I've met a few other directors that I've come across that have been able to actually let us is telling us, hey, I want to make modern day films,
Mhm.
not just time period, but I want to have indigenous people as part of the everyday crowd as well too.
Oh yeah.
And so I know that Taylor Sherrod has been doing that. At the Patch Cafe, I was the token indigenous guy. I'm pretty sure they didn't know I was indigenous, but and I've done that too, and a bunch of other ones where I look around, I'm like, oh, I'm the only indigenous person here.
That makes it good sometimes.
So I was like, oh, I'm the token indigenous guy in this one. It's just joking around, I don't mean anything bad about it.
No.
I like to have fun. Everybody knows that I'm a jokester.
Well, me too. I'm the same way. I love watching people laugh, and I guess that's one reason I'm Santa Claus is because I love looking at the people's faces and the gleam that's in their eyes. Even the adults, not only the kids but the adults. So whenever I walk into the room, it's just it's amazing to me. It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Makes me feel like I'm putting a smile on somebody's face. I enjoy that.
And even whenever you came into here, it was you had your full outfit on, and it was just like, wow, that is awesome. And then the kids came in, and
That's cool.
they got to see you and Jesse with all his questions and everything.
Oh yeah, I love those questions. They were cool questions. Good questions too.
Yeah. He's very inquisitive and he's very intelligent. Sometimes it's hard to lose track of how intelligent he is.
Oh God, yeah, I can understand that. I ran into a lot of kids like that, very inquisitive, and that's what I love.
Oh yeah, and so it's awesome to see that. It was awesome to see you stand there and go toe to toe with him and ask all his questions to where he ran out of questions after that. He was like, I don't have anything else. And so that's awesome, man. And I did meet you on set. I think we met on Bass Reeves, right?
Yes, Bass Reeves is where we met. Yeah,
And we got along really well. We were
yes, we did.
making everybody laugh over there as well too.
Now I spent most of my time laying down on that set, but I mean I was there.
Now, leading up, now, did you have any acting training or?
Yeah,
coaching?
back in the 80s, I was with a company called the Chanel Agency,
Mhm.
which are no longer in business. But I had a lot of well-known people that I took classes through back in those days,
Okay.
and I still take a class every now and then because it always helps to keep you refreshed and
Mhm.
everything.
Now, do you do workshops or do you do like actual in-person classes?
In-person classes,
In-person
yeah.
classes.
The internet's great and everything, but I don't know. I guess I'm old fashioned. I like to be face to face. When I'm actually doing the
Yeah.
classes and stuff and
That-
talking to the people.
That's definitely something that I would like to prefer as well too,
Mhm.
given the time and the and I guess the finances. I would
Yes.
definitely want to go in person because I do like being able to, for me, I actually like constructive criticism.
Me too.
I feel like it always makes me better. I know that there's a lot of
Yes.
people that can't handle it. However, if you're going to be an actor, it's definitely something that you need to do because
Yes, you need the critical criticism. You do. I mean, it makes a better person out of you. It makes you a better actor. Because what you are portraying and what you're doing, you don't see it yourself. Other people do see it, and they can tell you what you're doing wrong or what you can do to do better. And I it doesn't matter, no matter what I do. After I get through with it, I think to myself, I could have done that a little bit better than that. I could have been a lot better than that. And I think most actors do that too. I mean, they say, well, I think I should have done this a little better, or I should have done that a little different. But
Yeah, I totally feel that. Sometimes a lot of times I feel the same way. I'm like, everybody's like, "Oh, it was great, it was great." I was like, "I'm pretty sure I could do that a lot better."
amen. I do that all the time myself. So don't feel lonely.
Makes me feel a little bit better.
Cool.
Now, currently, are you working with an agent or agency?
Well, not. I'm working more as an independent on the acting part now.
Mhm.
For my Santa Claus, I do. I work for a company called SantaForHire.com and HireSanta.com. I work for both of those, and I work a little bit with one called Fun Time, and then Lily is another one that I work with. She does the North Pole Express out of Grapevine, and she is a sweetheart and really, really a lot of fun to work with. So is Donna from Santa for Hire too. She is really good too. But as far as acting, I'm just freelancing. I haven't found anybody that I really, really want to try to be in with right now.
Mhm. No, I totally understand. Now, do you send out whenever you get the breakdowns and auditions, do
Mhm.
you use like the different apps like Actors Access and Backstage?
Actors Access is one I use. Yes,
Okay. And
use it and a few others besides it.
yeah, I try to utilize them as well. I
Yeah,
did do Casting Networks for a little bit.
yeah, I'm working with that one too. Yeah.
I had to let mine go this past year, but I had actually gotten a few jobs off of there before. The one that I never really had any success on that I've heard other people have is
Yeah.
Backstage.
I hadn't really had that much success off of it either, so don't feel lonely.
Yeah, it's been Actors Access, Casting Networks, Ronnie Hummel's Facebook page.
Yep, Ronnie Hummel. Yeah,
And
I've done a few for Ronnie Hummel. In fact, I did Bringing Back Christmas with Ronnie Hummel.
okay.
I mean, it was a really a cute and funny movie.
Mm.
Really enjoyable working on too.
Oh man, that is awesome. Now, I've also used sorry, my computer keeps giving me
Oh.
notifications.
Okay.
I keep also working with Legacy Casting too.
Yes, I do. I do with Andre and them. They're really great people to work with.
They're
I have done more with them than I have with any other agency at all.
You know what? That's actually same here too.
Oh, you do? Cool.
They were more responsible for, especially Kickstarting. The first 18 projects I was on was all through Legacy,
Yeah.
and some of them they just sent requests. They would request me. Other ones, I would turn it in, and then not too long before they start filming,
Oh,
they'd send me a response saying, "Oh, you're needed tomorrow."
well, they're pretty popular about that. I'll tell you.
And it always felt good whenever you got an advanced one, but you get it whenever they get it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And so it's nothing to take out on Legacy.
No,
It's,
they all do that. There's not just
yeah.
Legacy. I mean,
It's or any of them. It's like, but as soon as they get it, they're gonna send it to you as an actor.
That's true.
So it's something to expect as well. Don't just because you're not getting a response right away, don't panic.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you're not gonna get one.
That
It
is
just
so
means
true.
that it's on its way probably.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, now, what are some of the more current, like, are the acting classes different than they were back then, or are they around the same as well?
Uh, well, they have changed quite a bit because you're doing it online nowadays instead of actually in person. But the ones that you do in person are just like it was back in those days. Some of them have got a lot of different features compared to what they did back then. But acting has changed quite a bit since the '80s.
Mhm.
So it's understandable that they're going to change a little bit. Yeah.
No, for sure. Even I'm sure, just like we spoke to David a little bit ago, and he told us that there is a little bit of a difference from
Hmm.
whenever he was in it too. A
Oh
lot
yeah.
different training, a lot more different environments that they get to have
Exactly.
now. I remember actually I remember the Rangers, they threw a fit because they wanted a dome.
Yeah.
They got it, but,
Yep.
but I remember that. And that was pretty recently actually too. So uh now you said that you were doing Santa for how long again was it?
Over almost 20 years. I know it's way over 15 years. Yes.
Okay. Now, when did they start having you come in for doing Santa? Like around what month is it usually?
Usually start in November.
November.
They do have a few in July, but I've never really done any in July. But I mean, they do have a little bit during July.
Okay.
But usually for movies or commercials or stuff, it's just almost year round for that. So
Okay.
not actually, but in November for my actually live shows that I do.
Okay. Now, through I know that this is December. Is this around the last time that you'll be playing Santa, or do you go into January sometimes?
Well, sometimes it goes into January, but this year we're just this. In fact, I had my last one today.
Okay.
This year so far. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming by, especially after that. So I know that, like I said, I know that you have a really busy schedule around this time.
Well, yeah,
And
Christmas
so
Eve. I'm pretty busy that time of the year.
definitely, and going into overnight, you got a lot of deliveries tonight.
Yes, yes, all the way around the world.
That for sure. And so we definitely thank you for making time for us on here. Now,
You're welcome.
is there any advice that you'd give to anybody who's new to acting?
The strongest advice I'll give is never give up. Take the criticism, make the changes, don't ever give up.
Okay, perfect. We thank you very much. Now, uh, I tried to keep it around 30-minute segments, but you know, do you have any films coming up? Like you said that there was one film that's about to come that's in theaters right now.
Well, we've done well, I don't. Well, actually, then Twisters. I was in Twisters. I don't know if it's still in the movies, but it was there for a while. I was in it, and then I was in several others that have not came out yet. So I hadn't got much into talking about them or anything
Okay.
yet. But
Not a problem.
as soon as they do, I'll for definitely be talking about them.
Sounds good. We'll definitely. You're more than welcome back on here.
Well, I do thank you.
Some okay,
You're
and
welcome.
we'll share it on the page, the Facebook page, and everything. Now,
Okay.
is your Facebook set up to accept followers?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, spell your name out because some of this is going to be audio only,
Okay.
and that way they can go to your page and they can follow you. And I'm also going to spell David's name afterwards. I forgot to have him spell his name as well. So,
Okay.
but
My name's Red Mitchell on Facebook, and it's RedMitchell.
all right. Well, Red, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks to David Vela as well, DAVIDVELA. And from all of us here at Today's Entertainers with Little Dog, and I'm going to try this again. Etamomoka Sixko. Sixko. Etamomoka Sixko. Happy holidays, everybody. And one last thing, real quick. Give me 1 second to go ahead and get them framed up for you guys. And
Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!
all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Red. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you. All right. Well, thank you. And everybody watching, appreciate you all. So, let's see, did the number stop? Nope, we're still going live. Hey, Red.
Cool.
uh, All right, well, yes. And so let's see. I just now saw on the YouTube that there was some questions, and it was from Will as well, our producer.